Once upon a time, in a small village nestled deep in the valley, there lived a beautiful girl named Zira. She lived with her parents, and her mother had once been the most stunning woman in the village. So admired was she that every eligible bachelor had sought her hand in marriage. Zira's father was considered the luckiest man in the village to have won her mother's heart. Even the village prince had failed to do so. As Zira grew older, she became even more beautiful than her mother, and all the maidens in the village admired her. One day, while returning home from the stream, Zira saw a giant snake staring directly at her. Terrified, she froze. She had never seen a snake that large before. As the snake gently slithered toward her, she let out a loud scream and shut her eyes in fear. When she finally opened them, the snake had disappeared. Heart pounding, she ran all the way home. When she told her mother what had happened, her mother comforted her, relieved that nothing had harmed her daughter. But as days turned into weeks, strange things began happening. Zira often found herself in dangerous situations, only to be miraculously saved by the same mysterious snake. One afternoon, as she was about to step on a deadly scorpion, the snake suddenly appeared, hissing loudly to alert her. Startled, she saw the scorpion just in time and quickly retreated. Yet, no matter how much she tried, she couldn't stop thinking about the snake. That night, Zira had a terrifying dream. In the dream, she saw herself as a snake, hissing and slithering beside the very snake she had encountered in the forest. She woke up in fear and rushed to her mother's room to share the horrifying vision. Her mother reassured her that it was just a dream. The following evening, Zira went to the forest to gather firewood. As she bent down to pick up some dry branches, the snake appeared again. In fear, she stepped back, just as a large tree branch crashed down where she had been standing moments earlier. Shocked, she realized that the snake had just saved her life. Curious, Zira decided to follow it. She trailed it carefully as it slithered toward a cave deep in the forest. But just as she was about to step closer, fear overtook her, and she turned around and ran home. Little did she know that someone had been watching her. A village maiden named Lami, known for her gossip and jealousy, had heard Zira's scream and rushed to see what was happening. From a distance, she saw Zira and the enormous snake staring at each other. Consumed by curiosity and envy, Lami began spreading rumors in the village. She told everyone that Zira possessed dark powers that allowed her to control snakes. She exaggerated stories, saying that a snake in the forest had saved Zira from a falling tree. The gossip spread like wildfire. Some villagers became suspicious, wondering if Zira had an alliance with dark forces. Others dismissed the rumors, believing it was simply Lami's jealousy at play. But despite the controversy, the young men in the village remained eager to win Zira's heart. She was, after all, the most beautiful maiden in the village. One day, a young farmer named Darren asked for Zira's hand in marriage. Handsome and hard-working, Darren had a good reputation in the village. The two had met at a festival and had spent time getting to know each other. Zira had turned down many suitors, but Darren had promised her marriage. He soon met with Zira's family and declared his intentions. A date was set for their marriage introduction, and Zira dreamed of a happy future with him. On the day of the marriage introduction, Zira looked breathtakingly beautiful. The village gathered for the joyous occasion, but just as the ceremony was about to begin, the giant snake appeared in their midst. Chaos erupted. Terrified people ran, and Darren fled as well, never speaking to Zira again. Heartbroken, Zira felt abandoned by her entire village. People now avoided her, convinced that she was connected to dark forces. Unable to bear the shame, she left her village and sought refuge with her mother's best friend, Nari, who lived in a neighboring village. Desperate for answers, Zira confided in Nari about the mysterious snake and how it had ruined her life. Nari, determined to help, came up with a plan. They would return to the forest and kill the snake. Together, they traveled back to Zira's village and made their way to the snake's cave. They found the serpent fast asleep. Quietly, Zira raised her knife, preparing to strike. But at that very moment, the snake suddenly woke up and bit Nari. Startled, Zira accidentally cut her own hand, spilling blood onto the snake. What happened next astonished them all. The snake's scales melted away, revealing human skin. Within moments, the giant serpent transformed into a girl who looked exactly like Zira. Shocked and confused, Zira ran home to tell her mother. It was then that her mother revealed a long-buried secret. On the day of Zira's birth, there had been great joy. But moments later, her mother had felt another sharp pain and pushed again, only to give birth to a snake. Terrified of what people would say, she had taken the snake into the forest and abandoned it there, keeping the truth hidden. Overwhelmed, Zira and her mother rushed back to the forest to find the girl. There they saw her, scared and confused. But beside her stood Nari, now acting strangely. She had gone mad. Then, in a shocking confession, Nari revealed the truth. Years ago, she had been in love with a man who had instead fallen for Zira's mother. Out of jealousy, she had sought the help of dark magic to curse her friend's unborn child, turning it into a snake. But what she hadn't known was that Zira's mother had been pregnant with twins. The spell had only affected one of the babies. Upon hearing this, Zira realized that the snake she had been encountering was her lost twin sister all along. With tears in her eyes, Zira's twin explained why she had ruined the wedding. Darren had only wanted to marry Zira for a bet. He had never truly loved her. Realizing how much her twin had suffered, Zira hugged her tightly. The village was astonished by the revelation. Zira's twin was welcomed into the family with open arms, and the two sisters built a bond stronger than ever. In the end, Zira and her twin sister embraced their newfound bond, making up for the lost years. The village, once filled with whispers and suspicion, now marveled at the extraordinary tale of the sisters. With time, Zira's twin was fully accepted, and together they lived in peace, proving that love and truth could heal even the deepest wounds. The story of Zira and her long-lost sister became a legend in the village, a reminder that jealousy and deceit only lead to regret. Nari, consumed by her own bitterness, faced the consequences of her actions, while Zira and her twin found happiness in their unity. Through forgiveness and understanding, they turned what was once a curse into a blessing, showing that even in the darkest times, light can always find a way through. I hope you enjoyed this incredible tale of love, mystery, and redemption. If you found the story captivating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your support helps us grow and bring you more amazing stories. Stay tuned for our next exciting tale. See you soon.